In today's modern society, there is one story that seems to be frequently forgotten, the story of the immigrant. Is it still possible for a man to come to America and achieve success? In this interview, we hear from Fidel DeLaBarra, a man from Huancayo, Peru, who traveled to the United States in search of this success, and
The
this is his
mountains
story.
and well, in Peru we don't have the sophisticated games we have in the United States. I remember when I was a little kid, I was I like to play soccer and run and different cheap games. I remember when I was a little kid, I was kind of rebel and always my mom say, she tried to make jokes with me to put me down a little bit because I was rascal. And she say, oh, you're not my kid. You're from North America. Because I was a kind of little more white than my brothers and sisters. So she was joking me and say, hey, we bring you from North America. That's why you're white. So always I was dreaming get out, not specifically to North America, but kind of that was my plan to go out someplace. Anyway, I'm going to tell a little about my story. I remember, when I finished high school, I was living with my dad in the farm. And my brothers, they were living in the capital in Lima and they were in the university. And I was kind of like jealous because, when your brother, your sister, they go to university and you are stuck in the farm, it's like, I want to be like that, I want to be university anyway. The years passing and, I went to the capital Lima, but it was hard to go in the universities because over there, if it's no private, you have to give a test and so many people apply and only a few can study for kind of free. And I remember I one day decided to apply to these universities and actually applied this one. This is very old, maybe it's the first one in South America, and believe it or not, I went in and I started my career. I'm librarian, and after go to university, I was poor, very poor. I didn't have money to go on the bus. So I remember I found a bike and I did 2 years university in my bike, going and back, going and back. And after the 2 years, and 18 of course in university too, because they give you every that for free too. After 2 years, I tried to find a job in the university in the library because I was studying for librarian, and I get it. So after that, they don't pay too much. After that time, when I almost finished the university, I found a job in this different company out of the university, and this company was American Peruvian company. I remember I started like a librarian, and I did good, I think. I make things happen right there. My customers grow up all the time, and the director liked it. One day he said, hey, you can go to Hawaii, send you to Hawaii for vacation. And I cannot believe it. So it's just why I had the opportunity to travel. I went to Hawaii, and that was opportunity. After when I was in Hawaii, it's a different story. I can take that later. Well, my reaction was huge since the moment I went to airplane and start flying for hours. I remember it was a full moon, and I was watching the moon, and some tears come to my face because I didn't know if I'm going to come back or not soon. Suppose I was going for 1 week. I had opportunity to come back, but I remember when my dad said, bye kid. I say, see you soon, and he said, no, see you in 5 years. Anyway, after the airports and change airplanes to go to Hawaii, Hawaii was another thing because it's kind of tropical place, the green, the blue ocean, the huge airports. That is so impressed how this country is, and maybe people don't realize that all the things we have in this country. I don't know what to describe. I was sad because my family and my things were in Peru, but at the same time hungry to know more. I started working and cleaning the apartments or condominiums. You don't have papers, so you cannot look for a better job. And that was almost during 8 months. After the 8 months, I remember I had kind of like a small discussion with this lady who was my employee, and I was out the job, with $20 in the pocket, and feeling the more lonely man in the world. You don't have a job, you don't have a money, it's like, anyway, but something always pushing you. And I remember I met this guy, and I was going to the church, and over there they were teaching English classes. I met this Colombian guy. He said, hey, where are you living? I said, I don't have a house right now. And he said, what? Yeah, I don't have a house, I don't have a job, I don't have nothing. So I remember he was working for one guy taking pictures. And he said, how come you're sleeping in your car? Come on to my house. So I went to his house and he found me a job in his job, And I started working, taking pictures. And that was the beginning of a good time, Taking pictures now is my passion. And what I can say, after a year, my visa was kind of expired. And I didn't want to be in that position to be illegal in the country, and always had the worst jobs or difficult situations. I remember one night I was in a party, in the house of these friends, and I say, I have to go back to Peru. I have papers, my visa expired, and one lady came to me and say, Fidel, don't worry, you are a good man, you are a hard worker, I'm single, let's marry. And I said, are you crazy? She said, no, Fidel, I like you a lot. So let's do this. So I married. After that I started being legal and I have my papers, and was like that, during 2.5 years. And I was working in the company. Now I was a manager already. And I remember one day, this lady showed up in the job, and I don't know, I was kind of in love with the first time I see her. But my English was very bad, so I was very shy to talk to her. Suppose I was the manager, but I was shy anyway. And I remember that day I saw her. Her name was Cara. And in the night time I went to the pub. I don't know what we were celebrating with my friends. And I take the chance to talk with her, and say, hey, hi, you remember me? And she said, oh, hi. So I told her, hey, you are hired, because she went only to see what kind of job, blah, 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 blah. And she was hired. So she started working in the company right away, was chemic, I like her, probably she liked me, and everything was good until somebody told her, I was a married man. I had to explain, this lady was trying to help me, and blah, 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 and so we started a romance, a nice romance, and after a while, it was crazy. I decided, this woman is for me. I want to marry her. This time for real. So now, after 7 years, she is my wife. We are living in Minnesota, and she's pregnant. We were waiting our first kid.